What's up, guys, and welcome to the first video on the Jam Sports Network. I actually had another video planned, but this happened, so I thought that I would talk about this for a minute, and that's Kawhi going to Toronto and what the Spurs got out of the deal. This is not how all the videos on this channel will be, but there is going to be like talking about stuff like this as bigger news happens. So personally, I want to talk about who won this trade, and I think ultimately that is resoundingly San Antonio, and here's why. Toronto, in my opinion, did something stupid in trading DeRozan. Now, I've been kind of critical of Toronto, and I've said that they've needed to not necessarily blow it up, but they definitely need to figure out what's going on, maybe have a personnel change or something like that. Not that I wanted to talk because Milwaukee's not overly good, but I think that they ultimately lost this trade because they traded away a franchise player who wanted to stay in Toronto his entire career in DeMar DeRozan, and they traded him for a guy who has already said he has no interest in playing in Toronto. So they've traded away years of at least being in the playoffs for this coming year, depending on what Kawhi does, and then he'll probably just dip. I don't think that this is a Paul George situation where it's like, well, let's see how we do, and maybe he'll resign. And honestly, even Paul George signing with the Thunder again kind of shocks me, but I don't think it's like that. And so San Antonio was smart. A lot of these teams, a lot of times, will have these superstars, and they're like, well, maybe we can convince them to stay, and so instead of trading them off, then they won't get anything out of it. And we've had a little bit of a good string of that lately. Indianapolis traded Paul George and got Victor Oladipo, and that's turned brilliantly. But we'll see. I think I think San Antonio did a really good thing. They knew Kawhi wanted out, so they traded him for somebody that's really, really good. And DeRozan will probably stay there for a while. I think he had just signed I could be wrong about that. I think he had just re-signed an extension within the last couple of years of Toronto, so San Antonio will get that contract, and so they've got a guy for a little bit. So I would definitely say San Antonio won this trade. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think Toronto or San Antonio came out? Do you think Kawhi is going to stay in Toronto? Do you think he'll be traded before the beginning of the season? What do you think is going to happen? That is actually one thing that I can say. Maybe Toronto thought that they could trade DeMar DeRozan and get a better piece, because I do think Kawhi is a better basketball player than DeRozan, even though I think they're both really, really good. Kawhi, of course, you got possibly some injury issues, but I think that with getting a Kawhi, they can now potentially attract a superstar, but it's going to be hard for Toronto anyway to lure people up there, because even with Drake up there, it doesn't seem like anybody really wants to go, and Toronto's had their fair share of absolute studs up there between Carter and Bosch and McGrady. There's been a lot. Chauncey Billups was in Toronto for a little bit. I think there's been a lot of really, really good players, and it's just been hard for them to kind of keep anybody. So, but that is the video. I just wanted to make that video about Kawhi. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Stick around because more content is coming. Thank you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.